"Mom, I am okay," she said as she reluctantly removed her mom's hands from her cheek. "She is fine. It is because it's her first time away from home. She will soon get used to this place. Is that right?" her father asked her as she nodded a yes. Her parents brought her more provisions and gave her some money and hugged her goodbye. "Did you tell your parents what Mr. Collins has been doing to you and how he flogged you the last time?" one of her friends asked her as they met on school compound. "No, I didn't. I was too scared to tell them. I was scared they might not believe me. I was scared they would think I was making excuses not to be in school. I was just scared." "You should have told them. Maybe they would meet with the principal and Mr. Collins would not have to flog you again," her friend said. "What if that will make him flog me the more? What if? Zeno, Vero, come over here." Maria, who is also their friend, cut in with a shout and they ran towards her. Mr. Collins' hatred towards Zeno was very obvious, but none of Zeno's classmates were able to report this attitude to the school authority. Neither did Zeno say anything. Instead, she sucked up her pains and rejection and hoped for a change as she gives her best to her studies. There was a time Zeno had a fight with one of her classmates, and the news got to Mr. Collins. Instead of him to settle the problems between the two, he instead took sides with the other student and punished Zeno for what she didn't do. Nobody could explain the reason for his hatred towards Zeno. It's mathematics period, and Mr. Collins will soon be in class. Zeno wasn't feeling too well, so she placed her head on the desk and slept off. "Good afternoon, Mr. Collins. We are happy to see you. God bless you." The class stood up as they greeted their teacher in unison. "Who is that person sleeping while others are standing up to greet me? You may all sit down," he said as he walked towards Zeno and whipped her with his "Can you wake up?" And Zeno jumped up from her sleep, only to see Mr. Collins at her front. "How dare you sleep in my class, you lazy girl?" "I am sorry. I am not feeling well. I didn't know when I slept off." "Come out and pick pins here. That should take away the nonsense sleep from your eyes," he said. "Mr. Collins, Zeno is not feeling well. She is sick," Vero said. "Will you shut up there? Or will you come and join her to serve the punishment?" Mr. Collins retorted, and Vero couldn't say a thing again. Zeno managed to serve her punishment. 5 minutes into it, Zeno was pleading and crying, but Mr. Collins wouldn't listen. Few seconds later, Zeno slumped and fainted, and all her classmates screamed, "She is dead!" Some said, "Mr. Collins has killed her!" "Zeno, will you stand up?" Mr. Collins said, but no response. "Zeno! Zeno, get up!" He shakes her out of confusion. At this time, the whole class was in chaos. Some of them ran out to call other teachers. The security men arrived and rushed Zeno to the sickbay. Immediately, the school principal called Zeno's parents, and when they arrived at school, they saw their daughter in a bad state and requested to know what had happened to their child. The principal invited some of Zeno's classmates to explain what happened. Vero narrated how Mr. Collins had been very cruel to Zeno right from the start. He flogs Zeno almost every day. Another girl added, "We were too scared to report him because we didn't want him to flog us the way he flogged Zeno." The girl continued, "Thank you, girls. You may now go back to your class," the principal said to Zeno's classmates, and they left immediately. "I am taking my child out of this school," Mr. Come said. "How can this kind of cruelty be happening in your school and you are not aware?" he added, raising his voice at the principal. "We are very sorry, sir. I assure you the school will take the right measures to ensure that Mr. Collins is brought to book," she said as she placed a call. "Bring him to my office," over the phone call. And in few seconds, Mr. Collins was brought in by the school security, and in some minutes later, the police came in too. The principal ordered for the arrest of Mr. Collins. "Take him away to a psychiatric hospital first. His brain needs to be checked," the principal added as the police officers handcuffed Mr. Collins, who stood there and said nothing. Mr. Collins was escorted by 2 police officers out of the principal's office, and they walked through the school compound where other students were all gathered. Mr. Collins bent his head in shame with his handcuffed hands, and all the students laughed and mocked him. The principal gathered all the students and teachers together. She encouraged the students to always report any teacher with unusual behavior towards them. "My office is always open to all of you. I am primarily here to serve you all," she said. "Do not allow anyone bully you, not even your fellow students. Is that clear?" she said, and they all excitedly replied, "Yes, ma. And for you teachers, if you behave unruly towards any student, you will have to face the law. Have I made myself clear?" They all responded, "Yes, ma. Thank you." "Thank you. You may all return to your classes," she said as she walked away. "How do you feel now, Zeno?" the principal asked as she walked into Zeno's ward, where her parents were seated with their daughter. "I am better now," Zeno replied. "Yes, she is better now. She is responding fast to our medications, though," Mrs. Kome added. "My darling Zeno, whenever anyone treats you in an unusual manner, don't hesitate to speak out to your parents or anyone that could help. Is that okay?" the principal said, and Zeno replied, "Yes, ma. I will always speak up, and I will always speak up for help before things get out of hand." "That is very good, Zeno. I am glad you have learned your lessons now," the principal said. "And don't worry, you will never have to see Mr. Collins again. He has been arrested by the police, and he will be prosecuted." "Wow! Thank God!" Zeno exclaimed with so much excitement, as if the arrest of Mr. Collins was the medication she needed. She got up and couldn't wait to be discharged so that she could go back to her school activities and to her wonderful classmates who spoke up for her when she could not say anything. Zeno henceforth enjoyed her school, and no teacher treated her badly ever again. The end.